See me looking at you, looking at me, looking at you. Clutch. What's up, everybody? If you're new here, my name is Desiree Lacap, aka Lacapture. I'm a filmmaker, also a content creator, sharing film educational tips and tricks and everything you could think of. But if you've been here already, I'm super grateful to have you back. This is solely for just talking about how far I've gone this year. And just to share some tips that come at the top of my head. This isn't scripted. This is just coming straight from the heart, from experience, from what I feel like would help you all out. October was one of the biggest and hardest and most challenging months I have gone through. It was only challenging because I said yes to opportunities that I knew would scare the living shit out of me, but also help me step out of my comfort zone, and in results to that, grow into who I want to become internally, creatively, spiritually, physically, and mentally. So it was tough. I started off with Adobe Max. That was the biggest thing that I've done this year so far. But in terms of internal growth and how afraid and nervous I was, that beats it all. Primarily, I said yes because I knew I was going to be scared. But coming out of that experience, I have never felt more better about myself than accomplishing that really big step in life. To me, I'm more used to being in front of the camera. I'm able to go into post and edit it and then post it, right? I could cut out my mistakes. The thing that scared me the most is that I was speaking in front of over hundreds of people, so 85 per session, and I had to do it 3 times. And I'm not used to that. I had a really weird anxiety experience that set me back a lot. So my old job, the one I quit, my full-time job as a video editor, I was in a meeting room full of my coworkers, which granted, they are super cool, they're dope, nothing was wrong, right? But for some reason, I knew I had to present, and when my time was coming up, I started to black out. My vision started to close up, my legs were shaking, I was twiddling my fingers, and when they were like, okay, well, now it's your turn to present, blah, blah, blah. And mind you, it was a room full of less than 20 people. So you could see how Adobe Max would scare the shit out of me. As I was presenting, I had my notes, and even leading up to it, I was practicing. I think I practiced too much where I fucked up because I was trying to memorize it. And then as my mind, like my mouth wasn't matching with what was in my head, so I started to completely black out. Cheeks were shaking. I was like sweating. Granted, they said I did really good during the presentation, but I don't remember because I blacked out. Anyways, I say that to say that was an experience that really scarred me for a long time. With even just small gatherings and like going to talk to people, or like for some reason, I'm able to talk to strangers, no problem. I see you on the street, I'm chatting it up with y'all no matter what. But if I know I'm going into a social event by myself, without any friends, without anybody I know, and I'm walking into the room, I walk in pretty confidently, and then I start to like, oh shit, like how do I go up to this person? What do I say? Blah, blah, blah. About a month leading up to Adobe Max, I was like, I should have started earlier, but I'm a very spiritual person in terms of like helping myself, pouring in love into myself, but I was lacking a lot of that leading up to it. So I was like, I gotta start creating space for myself to feel good about myself. That way it projects out into the world. So leading up to it, every single day I was meditating, I was writing, I was falling asleep with a meditation. And every morning I would repeat the same thing and just feel good about myself and look in the mirror and really tell myself, like, I love myself, I trust myself, I honor myself, I value myself. And honestly, that has really helped. And I say that story for a few reasons, so I hope that you guys take away. One, say yes to opportunities, even if you don't know how to do it yet, because you will figure it out, right? Say yes now and figure it out on the way, because that is how you grow. 2, especially if they scare you. If it doesn't scare you, it is not big enough. Especially if you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. It's so scary. Say yes, because out of that, you will gain growth in knowledge within yourself, mentally and emotionally. 3, it doesn't matter or shouldn't matter what people think about you, as long as you feel good about yourself. Right? Like, especially leading up to Adobe Max, I had to keep telling myself and reminding myself, like, I'm going there to provide value. I'm there for a reason. They gave me this opportunity for a reason, and I'm able to provide value. Most of them, like 95% of them, took it as a good thing. It was really good feedback. Another 3% was just like, I already knew this, blah, blah, which is okay. You can't take things personal. You just got to keep chucking on and keep doing you. And as long as you know why you're doing what you're doing, that's all that matters. October was filled with challenges where I had to really step out of my comfort zone in terms of like social gatherings. So I also got invited to the Nikon Creators Camp at the end of October, and it was really fun. And granted, I was so nervous because you're like, I don't know these people. What are they gonna think of me? This and that. But I've started to really like hypnotize myself in a way where it's like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna come out of that experience meeting like loads of new friends and creators and connections, and I did. But the thing is that what we do as humans, right, and it's totally normal to feel this, is that we tend to self-sabotage a lot. Not even just in this area, but we already create these scenarios in our heads that hasn't even happened yet. And then when we're leading up to that moment, it tends to happen because that's the energy we're putting out for ourselves. So for example, before you're doing a presentation, you're already telling yourself, what if they don't like it? What if I suck? What if I fuck up? What if like blah, blah, blah? Or you're going to a social setting and you're like, oh, I'm so nervous. Like, what is it that we're nervous about? Is it the fact that what other people will think of us? Right? Like, ask ourselves this. Because at the end of the day, they don't care. They're 99% of the chance there's people in that same room who are just as nervous as you are. I've really practiced to try to switch my mindset to better experiences, right? And just pour in that type of energy that I want to happen rather than the one that I think or feel is gonna happen. So going into it with an open mind, saying, dang, I'm gonna come out of that with new connections. People are gonna love my presentation. And even if they don't relate or they don't align with it, it's okay. I came, I served, I provided value. And if people don't take it in as I see fit, it's okay. Because everybody has different opinions and perceptions. We can't allow ourselves to be bothered by it, because that is what will stop us. The lesson behind that is try to allow yourself the energy and the space to expect good things to happen to you or good experiences, especially when you are nervous or scared. Those are the times where you really got to pour the love into yourself and believe in yourself, no matter what you may be feeling or thinking. Oh no, my camera's gonna die. Okay, I might need to cut real quick.